Just a lazy Saturday. Surely, nothing strange is going on. I keep saying every single week. But the strange happenings keep happening. Let us go back to Outset Island once again. It's too loud. Nah, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. Ah. God, I'm always so tired. I'm always so tired on Saturday, I don't know why. Why is this always the case? I will never understand. So this week, what happened this week? Well, we had a bunch of stuff happening, right? It feels a little bit too loud on my ears. Let me lower it a little bit. Try to not touch a lot the volume on Firefox. But sometimes I do. That can happen, okay? So, what do we have here? Well, let's start with this one. I think this is truly important to mention. Let me bring up my thing. So the Switch 2 pre-orders are up. Surely the people that keep complaining about the prices wouldn't fall for it, right? Ah, if only that was the case. Then Switch 2 pre-orders see overwhelming demand, frustrations for hopeful buyers. Well, overwhelming. I am overwhelmed, that is for sure. Once again, I do believe Nintendo's going to win. Quote-unquote win, right? Oh, the console war! It's not 20 years ago or anything. But I do believe they're going to win because they're really the only company that has a competitive console at this point in time. Xbox, I think, it completely died years ago. As I mentioned, this was months ago, that they were going to just try to push their games everywhere, which makes sense. But the console market's pretty much dead. PlayStation 6 is coming. Was PlayStation 5 a good system? Wasn't it even a system? I don't think so. For the longest time, it was not even real. Even though it was officially out, it was not real. It was not anywhere. And nowadays, once again, what do they have? 3 exclusives? That's not saying a lot. And then we have Nintendo being greedy, which is not uncommon, but at the same time, it's really the most forgivable thing in this case. Let's get into it, let's read a little bit. US pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 kicked off shortly after the clock struck midnight Thursday. Unsurprising, sadly. But chaos ensued amid high demand. Scores of consumers hoping to be among the first to own Nintendo's latest gaming console, set official launch June 5th, jumped online to try and snag a pre-order. And while some lucky buyers found a success, many others ran into frustrating delays or sell listings quickly sell out at some participating retailers. I've seen some stuff with DSP. I don't know too much about the guy, but apparently he tried to pre-order 2. It was okay, and someone got into his account to cancel them. A little bit stupid, in my opinion, but I'm pretty sure the guy has a million haters, so I think that makes sense. Also, I don't truly understand this obsession with wanting to get Switch 2. Sure, it's gonna be an upgrade from the normal Switch, but it's just like buying the latest iPhone when you have the previous iPhone. Is it really that important? Probably not. Did they even announce exclusive Switch 2 games? If they did, I wasn't looking. Maybe they did. I don't know anymore. Anxious shoppers took to social media to share long wait times, screenshots of error messages, and carts that suddenly went empty amid the flood of transaction requests. That's going to happen. That happens every single time. don't remember when was the last time I saw something like this, but did you know that digital storefronts are also flawed? They do not expect hundreds of thousands or even millions of requests in just a short span of time. It's going to happen all the time. That's another reason to never buy anything the first day. Or in some cases, burn confirmation emails that were soon followed by notices about orders being cancelled. Maybe that's what happened to the DSP, I have no idea. Nintendo acknowledged the very high demand they can update about those interested in purchasing the Switch 2 for its own My Nintendo store. The company said it would be working diligently to fulfill orders, but noted that delivery by June 5th was not guaranteed. Delivery by June 5th was not guaranteed. I thought you had pre-orders for this kind of thing. Is it gonna be just with, like, with the Switch 1? It was not real for a long time too. But why? It's clear that you have a really high demand. Why is your production line so low? It doesn't make any sense to me. Especially in this case. We're talking about pre-order. Merchandise who want to increase their chances of getting the console at launch date to visit the participating retailer. I've seen the screenshots of people putting up Switch 2s, which is not a thing yet, but because they have the pre-order, on eBay for 100 or even $150 more expensive than the retail price. That's gonna be about, what, 600? That's a lot. Maybe even more. The excitement around this online pre-order was incredible. Walmart, one of the retailers also offering Switch 2 pre-orders, sending an email statement to the Associated Press, which is this site. Walmart launched its early listings at 12 AM ET and confirmed that they sold out quickly due to high demand. Okay, I understand that they have limited stock because you can only make a limited amount of product. The thing is, selling out of a pre-order is one of the most stupid things I've seen in my life. I understand it happens. I understand it will happen again. I understand it happens all the time. But why do you have a pre-order when you don't... How to say this? When you cannot fill it because you will not be making enough product in time? Maybe they should have pre-orders for longer. I don't think 2 months is enough. It's barely 2 months. It's 1.5 at best. I guess they try to give priority to people with Switch 1s and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be enough. Well, as we're seeing right here, not only it's not enough, it's nothing, probably. Customers will have another chance to buy the console on June 5th, when pre-orders are also set to be delivered by, the company added. But if they don't have enough product for the pre-orders, you won't be able to buy anything on June 5th. This has been happening for a long time. I don't understand. Best Buy and Target also rolled out their pre-orders overnight, but soon showed listings as out of stock or currently unavailable early Thursday. Hours later, GameStop got in on the action, launching both in-person pre-orders when the stores opened and an online offering that will live at 11 AM ET. Is that a good movie? ET, I mean. Still, those listings appear to be unavailable within minutes, and some customers reported confirmation delays. God, it's not enough. Just having an internet connection and one to pre-order is not enough. See? See, that's the best way. You cannot buy it because it's really expensive and it's not a thing. It's not available. Maybe a blessing in disguise, I suppose. Receiving overwhelming demands for Switch 2, which is causing some site issues, GameStop Help wrote on Twitter. The platform formerly known as Prince, shortly after 11:30 AM ET, The company later shared that its pre-orders had sold out online, although it would continue to squash bots and duplicate orders to reopen inventory. How are you going to squash bots? How are you going to squash with scalpers? It's never going to happen. Maybe bots, a little bit, but yeah, it's gonna be rough. Also, why wouldn't you set a bot to pre-order your stuff if you're gonna be busy? That makes sense. GameStop confirmed that its in-store pre-orders, however, were still available by Thursday afternoon. Okay, but will you get your product on that day? I'm not sure. It wasn't immediately clear what total capacity each retailer had for Switch 2 pre-orders. Nintendo, GameStop, Target, and Best Buy did not immediately respond to requests for further comment Thursday. They keep saying that. The more articles we read, they didn't immediately respond to requests. And sometimes, as we've seen, they just send the request for some sort of response like 5 minutes before sending this live, which is really stupid. Even if they wanted to, they wouldn't have enough time. What are you talking about? Stop it. The sensible and speedy demand for Nintendo Switch 2 isn't surprising. The new gaming console has been marketed as bigger and better than its predecessor of 8 years past. Well, I would hope so. It's smaller and also worse. Are you stupid? Don't answer that. Some people would buy that. It had anticipated features including an interactive chat, larger screen, and new games. Hold up. Highly anticipated features. Interactive chat. Are we sure about this one? I don't think that's the case. Seems like Discord, but worse. A little bit stupid. Larger screen, sphere, new games. Are they actually new? I guess they will be at some point. Still, the Switch 2's rollout arrives at an uncertain time for much of the industry, due to new tariffs implemented by Orange Ming, and responding retaliation from targeted countries, not only China. Economists have warned that the steeper levies will result in higher prices on a range of consumer goods, relying on a global supply chain today, including electronics. Stop it. This is Gigacope. I understand that a lot of people have immense TDS. They hated the Orange Man. Too orange for these guys. I understand. They don't like eating Cheetos. They don't like eating Doritos either. It's fine. They're gonna be healthy finally. The thing is, this isn't true, and we know it. Because first of all, prices are higher in Australia and Europe. I don't think US tariffs would affect trade relations between Europe, Australia, and Japan. Or China, I don't care. It doesn't make any sense. Also, after the announcement of the Switch 2, like a week and a half after that, GameStop announced a change in prices because of the tariffs. The systems were the same, but the accessories were more expensive. So, stop it. Stop it. They need to mention the Orange Man, it's insanity. Stop it. Switch 2's baseline launch price is $450. Significantly higher than the original Switch's $300 price tag. I guess $300 was not that bad for the Switch, huh? While new bells and whistles may account for a sizable portion of that hike, as we have previously noted that the new import taxes are also a contributor. Demonstrably untrue. And new pre-orders for the Switch 2 were already delayed earlier this month, ahead of Trump's steepest levies, most of which have now been postponed going into effect. If they have been postponed, and if your stuff is more expensive in other countries, it's not because of the Orange Man. Not because of the tariffs, not right now, maybe later. Pre-orders were originally slated to go live on April 9th, and added for Nintendo shared by GameStop notes, were pushed back to assess the potential impacts of tariffs and evolving market conditions. Once again, the console is still the same price. Nintendo later confirmed that some Switch 2 accessories would see price adjustments, and it is insane to me paying $95 for a pair of Joy-Cons Because I don't believe they work properly right now. Did they fix the drift? Or is this initial day? I do have my doubts. Until the previously announced baseline price for the console will remain the same. Keep blaming the Orange Man. They have to mention the Orange Man first, so people get mad. Because the lower you get into the article, the less people keep reading. I will know, I am less people. Super Mario creator Nintendo Co. is banking the Switch to provide demand for its gaming consoles. I'm pretty sure the Switch sold pretty well. The older predecessor recently losing momentum. I mean, it's been a long time, to the point that why would you buy the Switch when you have a PC that can play the games better, faster, and earlier? I don't think you should do that, but some people do. In February, the Kyoto Japan-based company said it expected to sell 11 million Switch consoles for its full fiscal year ending in March, reporting its initial projection of 12.5 million. That's still really good. The system is not new at all. They reported profit of 237 billion yen, that's $1.5 billion, for the first 9 months of its latest fiscal year, down 42% from the same period the year prior. Oh no! We're not getting as much money, even though we're still having billions in profit. You will be fine, guys, you will be fine. Don't worry about it. It will be okay. That's just silly, honestly. Oh, man. And there's more than this, right? There's more to this. Because obviously people have been complaining for a couple of weeks already with the new Switch 2 game cards that only have the key and you have to download the game just with that key. Here we have from Gimatsu. Just 2 game pre-orders have been up in Japan for a few hours, ruling all physical third-party games so far except Cyberpunk 2077. That are not Nintendo Switch 2 editions to be shipping on game key cards. Press internet to download the full game. Here we have, let me open this in the tab. We have, I'm pretty sure this is Suikoden. This is no Naga's Ambition. Shane Post, this appears to be some sort of idle game, I have no idea. Wild Hearts, Survival Kids. Bravely Default. I don't really know what this game is here on the side. I had a hard time trying to read it. I think it says something like Kunitsukami. I don't know anything about that. Yakazuru Director Scott, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Demon X Machina, Raider Remastered, Sonic and Shadow, and Street Fighter 6. And the thing is, a little bit on the way, the cropping is still not the best. We can make this a little bit smaller. And the thing is, why only in-game key card? Is it actually really that useful for anybody? I don't think that's the case, honestly. Because this is not owning the game, this is just having a digital copy. It's just having a physical token for your digital copy. It's like an NFT, but even more stupid. Which is amazing nonsense to me. And some of this actually don't make any sense, right? Because let's get to this guy. Michelle Nowakowski. Guess you missed it when we managed to fit Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition. Base game and Phantom Liberty expansion for Nintendo Switch 2. And 64GB game card. Cyberpunk is a big game. I bet it's gonna be bigger than maybe anything that you have here. But most notably, Bravely Default. Bravely Default was a 3DS game. Even if it's a remake, even if it's higher quality, there's no way this game is that big. This feels like a massive cash grab to me. And I hate to say that. When they tell you these devs are so lazy, they never optimize, they're right. At least these guys, and Not a big fan of City Project Red lately. When they do things right, we have to mention that because it's true. They went and they managed to fit this game into the game card. Why is that so difficult to do nowadays? I just don't get it. It's just so strange to me. I don't know. They would say, well, now you can share the game, you can resell it. Sharing games and reselling games, that common nowadays? I'm not sure. Maybe it is. Also, can we mention how Survival Kids looks so extremely ugly? I do remember the Game Boy game, and I do remember... What's the name again for the DS? Lost in Blue, which was supposed to be pretty much the same game. Spiritual successor, I guess. Maybe just a successor. I don't know, this seems strange to me, and people fall for this all the time. I don't know. I don't know. Once again, another for the you don't own the games you buy. Which is actually really disgusting. Also, I don't believe that Yakuza 0, even if it's Director's Cut, it is that big. It cannot be that big, okay? If it's not that big on PC, there's no way it's that big. On Switch 2. I only hope it runs better than Kiwami on the Switch 1. God, I've seen the clips. Really bad stuff. And here they have another two, like Isu X Pro Nordics and Sleep for Kanamedate. And the thing with these GameCube cards, at the end of the day, are they cheaper than the normal game cards? I'm not quite sure. It's just, it is still a physical product. Why not have the actual game inside? I can only expect mischief from here. Which is... not good. Not good. But since we were talking about the... you don't own the games you buy, let's talk about the Ubisoft a little bit too, right? We all love talking about the Ubisoft. Oh, what a great company. They're in deep water again. Eurogamer. Private firm files Ubisoft legal complaint over data collection. Forced online in single-player games, which is something I quite dislike. Tesla's Grid Maker raised fine of up to 92 million euros, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's about, from the numbers I'm seeing, 102 USD? I don't know the exchange right now, but it seems to be something like that. Hold up, let me... Suffocating Wish. I bet it is. This bots, man. I said... Killed. There we go. Always with the bots. So annoying. Always such a pain in my ass. And I didn't read through this article, but I took a quick gander through the comments. There are people actually simping for Ubisoft. I don't know what this world came to, but you have people simping for Ubisoft in current year. Impressive. A European shouldn't be an European. And me as well, please understand. Private firm has filed a legal complaint against Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft, citing concerns over the company's data collection practices and the requirement of an online connection for single-player games. Yeah, they're single-player, they're not offline games, which is really funny too. Based in Austria, hold up now, I did not expect this one. The non-profit European Center for Digital Rights has taken on the case of a Far Cry fan who contacted the Ubisoft to find out what data it had collected. The firm alleges that Ubisoft has flooded GDPR rules, that's privacy protection in Europe at least. And a lot of people dislike those laws, and I think those people are stupid. They will sell everything they own just for a little bit of convenience. Ah, they deserve it. Europe deserves it. if deserves all of the evil because of the cookie pop-ups. I was seeing a guy mention that, I think it was on Twitter. I'm like, but shouldn't you know what kind of shit they're tracking you with? And I don't like the pop-ups either, because they're really slimy. Sometimes you cannot even reject the cookies. I've seen some sites, and I'm pretty sure that's completely illegal. Well, you have to accept cookies, or you have to pay a subscription. And like, how about I'm never coming back to the site, bitch? That's what you get. And that raises potential fine of about to 82 million euros, 78 million pounds. Well, it's Eurogamer, I think it makes sense. 4% of Ubisoft's 2.3 billion euros turnover last year. Eurogamer has contacted Ubisoft for comment. See, they say that all the time, it's so funny. I do believe that 92 million euros seems a little bit too low. But it's just data. It's just data, who cares? Well, I care, it's my data. I don't have anything to hide, but at the same time, why the fuck are you looking? Boib! Which stands for none of your business. That's a fine name. Was set up by privacy activist Max Schrems, who previously helped surface allegations of personal data being passed from Europe to the USA for using the NSA's Prison Mass Surveillance Program. And they called me a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, it keeps happening. It keeps happening. The laws don't really matter when they don't enforce it properly. Well, playing prehistoric, is that... Oh, it's not because it's old, it's because of the themes, okay. Adventure, Far Cry Primal. Ubisoft told the user it had obtained the kind of data you'd expect. Information when the game was launched, how long it was played for, and when it was shut down. Even that seems too much to me. Why do you need to know when I'm playing my games? Well, it's Ubisoft. Obviously, it's not your game, because you never bought it. Well, you only bought a license. I hate these people. Once again, I'm always justified. You don't hate the French enough. Still, examination of the data Ubisoft has obtained showed the connection to external servers 150 times in 10 minutes. That's a lot. That's a little bit too much. Knife claims referring to this as a secret data collection. As for the need to connect online, Ubisoft told the user this was required to verify ownership of the game upon its launch. Ownership of the game? Oh! Now you own the game if we get to check your data? So convenient! Fuck those guys. Also, let's finish this paragraph. Never argues that because the user's copy of Far Cry Primal was bought through Steam, the game could be verified through that without adding logging into your Ubisoft account through Unreal. Also, how do you say this? This is extremely stupid, no matter how you look at it. So, I'm pretty sure if you buy a game through Steam, you must be playing through Steam, right? Am I going crazy? That makes sense to me. Hello, how you doing here, Thrash? You're reading news today. We're gonna be clowning on Ubisoft and some other people. Even though you can actually play offline through Steam, which is not common, but I guess it can happen sometimes. So why the need to check online? You actually have the game with a Ubisoft account. Also, if you're one of those dangerous pirates and whatnot, and you're playing a pirated copy, you wouldn't be connecting through the Ubisoft account anyway, right? It seems like a really lame excuse just to get your data. If the pure laws state that data collection should only take place if necessary, necessary? But who says what is necessary. Otherwise it is unlawful. Next complaint continues. The action that Ubisoft have attempted to play PC games via Ubisoft Connect while offline still requires an initial connection. Meanwhile, that... I don't know how I feel about that one. Initial connection, did it mean the first time you launched the game, or when you just launched the game? I have no idea. Once again, if the game is offline and I bought it, why do you have to keep looking, huh? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Discussing this situation with the user, Ubisoft's customer support flagged that agreement of the game's end-user license agreement. I feel like I said agreement twice because I did. When launching Ubisoft's user of third-party analytics tools to collect information concerning your and other users' gaming habits and use of the product. Thing is, even if you have that in the EULA, doesn't mean it's legal. I can make up a contract to say, well, if you sign this, I can kill you. It's in the contract, well, killing is still illegal. Right? An extreme example, but example nonetheless. Agreement of the game service policy, meanwhile, meant acknowledging that the Ubisoft collects game data to improve your experience and the security of our services, and logging and present data to enable the operation and security of our services. Nice excuse, Senator. His argument seems to hinge on whether the user has accepted the game's EULA simply by playing the game. Simply by playing the game? Is that how it works? I don't think that's a binding contract. I wouldn't know. I'm not a lawyer. The complaint says this should not be the case. I don't think it should. But the information was personal data, the complaint says it was, and whether this was then processed lawfully. The complaint says not. The purpose of the firm is thus recommending Ubisoft be made to change its practices to conform to GDPR and be as likely to fine, given that millions of users are affected, which is true. My gaming experience has never once been improved by the developer receiving my game data. You know what? Same. Actually, same. But as we've seen, I don't know how much you know about this, but I've been reading about this stuff for I don't know how many years. Before I started streaming. You have so many products that are free. Obviously, they're not actually free. It's just that they're going to sell your data constantly. It's not free. You happen to be a product, and that's really disgusting. Can we check the comments here? Like this guy, we're all just data being collected. That is completely true. And there was a guy. No. This guy here. What's wrong with collecting data about which weapons are used, which paths are taken, and what builds are the most popular? So games to get balanced and fixed these days. Not by opening Twitter and watching who streams the loudest. Sometimes in games certain content does not appear due to a bug, and there's no way a user will report it. Telemetry has to fill the blanks. If we're talking about online games, sure, I get it. Once again, this was Far Cry Primal, which was supposed to be single player. Not even competitive, not even multiplayer. It doesn't make any sense. And it pains me to no end having people saying stuff like, well, who cares? It's just data. Who cares? It's just data. I don't remember back in the day. Oh, be careful. Be careful with the stuff you say. Because maybe the government will come in and wire your home. Okay, how about we ask the wiring in our home how to fry an egg? It's my data, it's mine. Why do you need to know? Well, you don't, so... Hush! The hell out of here! So annoying. So stupid. And obviously they always give you the same excuse, right? Whoa! If you have nothing to hide, it doesn't matter if they take a look at the data. Well, no. If I'm not a criminal, why are you looking? Isn't that illegal? when you need a don't remember the name at this point in time, some sort of legal paper to do so. I've seen that in movies. Movies wouldn't lie to me. Ah man, and once again, we're reminded that gamers are victims to the worst practices for consumers. See, I made the mistake again. I keep saying consumers to customers. It's not the same. Similar, but not the same. And I guess a good segue for this would be talking about the Oblivion remake. Is it a remake? Is it a remaster? I have no idea. I know too much about the Elder Scrolls. I only played a little bit of Skyrim back in the day. But I don't have an article for that yet. But they released the... Let's call it a remake. Might be wrong. Oblivion remake! And people are... Wow, so happy. A lot of people are playing it. A lot of people saying... Well, it's pretty much the same game, but a little bit better. That's all you need to ask. They're garnering huge numbers on Steam, which is pretty interesting. Some people have been saying, well, the remake is pretty good because it was not made by Bethesda, which it's also really funny. I just have a little bit of, how to say this, ideology. Oh, I'm picking the mic, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit excited here. A little bit of the ideology, right? You go into the character creator and you have body type A and body type 2. Oh, but it doesn't matter. They changed that from male and female. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Just a silly change. Well, it is stupid, right? Because when you think about body types, you're not thinking normally. If you didn't know anything about this, you wouldn't be thinking male and female. You would be thinking stuff like stocky, thin, lean, perhaps frail if you're making old mage, which could be cool. Not man and woman. And of course, every single time this happens, you have people making mods to fix it. And you have people claiming, oh, it's such a wing, the game is fixed, now you can buy it. Well, no. You have to be fair. If you oppose that, you shouldn't be buying the game. Even if you can fix it with mods the first day, you're still giving money to a company that you disagree with. But I guess the game is good enough. And most people want to stop buying a game when they only have that. But obviously, when they make mods for that, Nexus Mods comes in and says, nah, that's not allowed, we don't like it, that's so evil. Which is really funny. It's not a big deal, so what does it matter that it changes? Well, I could ask you the same thing. Why do you care if somebody makes an optional mod to change that back? And there was a huge debacle with this. The body type selector, to the point that they had to release a big statement about it. Some people claimed, oh, this is such a huge wing. And I think it was Asmongold who mentioned that make no mistake about it, it's not that they're being fair or anything, it's just that they were fearing a huge exodus because of this. And Nexus Mods has been highly censorious for a long time. They have been censoring mods for a long time. And it's so stupid, because it should be community driven. Everything here is just optional. So they mention here, I didn't read this before, but there appears to be a little bit of mischief. Because I don't believe what they are claiming here to be truthful. This mod has been, and likely will continue to be, a source of controversy within the community. But why though? After thorough review, we've determined that the content of the mod itself doesn't violate our community guidelines. What about the other mods that you banned? However, due to the nature of the topic, which often attracts intense and sometimes hostile discussion, the comment section will remain locked to prevent further escalation. Sure. Why was the original upload removed? There has been a lot of speculation and misinformation regarding the removal of the original upload. To clarify, the mod was not taken down because of its content. As stated in the ban notice, it was removed due to the uploader's behavior. In the comments, the uploader expressed an intent to incite drama and endorsed an external site explicitly designed to host inflammatory content. This kind of behavior directly violates our community standards. I don't think that's what happened. We will need to see those comments, and I don't think they're in the open, sadly. So, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna believe Nexus on this one. We recognize that mods like this can bring sensitive discussions around gender and identity to the forefront. I don't know, man. I don't think being the second gender is that inclusive, okay? Well, this is an important conversation. See, they're not wrong here. Well, these are important conversations. Our platform exists to support creative expression and modding, not to serve as a battleground for broader cultural or political debates. But we will not tolerate the trolling, harassment, discrimination, or any other form of toxicity the discussions may provoke. I understand what they're trying to say, but they were not this generous with other mods of the sort. Our commitment remains the same, to keep modding accessible and welcoming for everyone, except the people we disagree with. There's now there are uploads of this content, and yada 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 yada. The thing is, it's a blatant lie, as we've seen. Because, of course, they banned the stuff like, what was it? Donald Trump was Captain America for Marvel Rivals, but they left by the mods up, so it's not just political, it's just politics we disagree with, and you had to be fair. You had to be fair. Are you against politics, or are you against some politics? And I understand a lot of people are biased, but at least say so, okay? At least do not lie to me. My goodness, and I've seen a lot of heinous stuff around this mod, because there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. And it's not that I don't understand, it doesn't pass proper scrutiny, if that makes any sense, right? Because they will tell you, a mod like this is just, extremely transphobic. I don't think that is true, right? Just a label change in-game. Instead of type 1 and type 2, it's man and woman, male and female. You can still play a female character or a male character, it doesn't matter who you are. But the thing here is, let's say you're a trans individual, and you want to make a character that represents yourself. So, if you're a trans woman, wouldn't you pick the woman option because you see yourself as a woman? Right? It only makes sense to me. But no. And I guess I've seen some people also mention that, well, it's not that they want to be seen as women. It's that they also want the trans label, which seems the opposite of what you would want if you had actual dysphoria, right? If you want to be a woman, wouldn't you want to be a woman with having a special label? I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just, well, since people disagree with oppose this change has to be good. It's pure tribalism, once again. Oh my god. And nothing useful has been done. Pure insanity. It is pure insanity. I will never understand that. I guess they're right when they say it's just the sexual paraphilia for some people. And I say some really lightly. This segment is gonna be really stupid, but please understand, I did not intend for this to happen, okay? Speaking of women that a lot of people think are men, let's talk about VTubers. What a strange segue. Let's understand. Just trying to make a joke. Here we have top female streamers in the first quarter of 2025 by big viewers. Oh my god, it's all Chubas. And I think it's a little bit unfair here, because some of these went through graduation, and of course the graduation streams are huge, okay? First of all, Murasaki Shion, which I did not intend for this to happen, but she graduated earlier today. I didn't watch the stream, but she had close to 400,000 CCP, which is absolutely massive. You have Sakura Miku, really high. We have Pekora, we have Fauna, which also graduation. Korone, Towa, Subaru. Oh man, Nimi Nightmare. The only no Hololive, right guys? Koyori and Biju. So, everything from Japan, well, because the company's Japanese, right? Let me open this up. Here. It's really interesting how pretty much everybody here is just Hololive. I think they're winning, and sure, a bunch of Chubas are graduating and whatnot, which is, I don't know, I just want to say sad. I think it's a problem, but they will be okay still. Probably just a change in business after all, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Are they going to see it again? Because oh, not the Chubas. Did you know that's only one no hollow? And it's near me. Does he know? I bet he does. Which is really funny because I got into Chubas thanks to controversy, actually. People were bitching and moaning. Oh my god, look at these Chubas. They're not real. And people were giving them so much money. And I was like, why are you guys bitching so much about this 2D shark girl? What's the deal with this? Then I watched her stream and I was like, oh, holy shit, she's so funny. And here we are today, huh? Fuck. And it's not only this, which this is pretty interesting nonetheless. It's also... that's hard, I presume that's for YouTube. It's Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. And yeah, the Twitch women, not that great in comparison, huh? I also found, well, I didn't find it. It was thrown to me thanks to the algorithm. An Economist article talking about Chubas, which is a little bit scary. We're hitting critical mass with this one. From the Economist, this is archived. I'm not gonna pay them. You wouldn't allow an article, would you? I wouldn't allow the car if I could. They sing and dance, but rarely show their faces. Meet VTubers. These entertainers who use digital avatars are growing in popularity. Growing in popularity? Where have you been, Grandpa? I mean, I'm joking, obviously, but this is really out of the norm. In glowing cube sits in the center of Makuharimis, one of Japan's largest convention centers. Misu? I don't think that's a Japanese word. As the crowd roars with excitement, Hoshimachi Suisei pictured this one. Merchant bags wearing a short, frilly skirt, and her signature blue hair artfully tied up. She kicks off the show with her hit song, Stellar Stellar. I think there's a different song with a similar name that's older than her song. For dozens of other performers take turns singing, dancing, and bantering with the audience. The thousands of fans in attendance could not care less that Miss Hoshimachi, the cohort, are digital avatars. I don't think they're gonna mention that, but I'm gonna say it right now. It doesn't really matter that they are digital, because funny enough, in a really strange, roundabout way, it makes it more authentic. Because behind the mask, it doesn't matter what kind of mask it is, you are more yourself. You can be truly yourself without fear, which is a little bit funny to me, not gonna lie. These entertainers are known as VTubers, virtual YouTubers, and they do not show their real faces. Most of them don't. I don't really like when they do it. Oh, VTuber versus IRL. So much fun. What are you doing? You shouldn't talk to yourself like that. There are a lot of crazy people out there. Instead, individuals often use motion capture technology to superimpose their movements onto their cartoon avatars in real-time cartoon. The biggest VTubers have concerts and events. Most remain in the digital realm. There's some footage of themselves singing, chatting, or playing video games. We play video games! Am I the Economist? I don't think so. The phenomenon started in Japan around a decade ago. Around a decade ago? Are they going through the actual history? It's a niche curiosity, but it has now spread across the world. It took off during the COVID pandemic, as people, particularly youngsters, went in search of entertainment and companionship online. According to Mordor Intelligence, oh my god. What kind of name is that? In research firm, the global VTuber industry is worth an estimated $2.9 billion and could reach $4.5 billion by 2030. That's a bit scary, because you will see a lot of people... I say you will see, like you're not seeing that right now. Trying to get their piece from that huge amount of money. And I'm just saying how many small corporations crash and burn. That's pretty much 95% of them. Here's the huge cash grab. Japan's VTubers dominate, but other countries are getting in on the act. VTuber talent agencies such as Whole Life Production opened up outposts in the West to target English-speaking audiences with great success. Scuba! And making his avatar with a shark costume. Excuse you. She is a shark girl from Atlantis. What are you talking about? Has 4.6 million subscribers on YouTube. The most of any VTuber. I think this is actually untrue on a technicality. The recent announcement that she would be returning on May 1st has provoked much dismay. Yeah. Apparently, from what I've heard, there was a some sort of horse-related content creator with like 17 million subscribers on YouTube. And then she started VTubing. So she would be the biggest on a technicality, right? That's the count, I don't care. I truly don't care. First of VTubers represents a mix of two Japanese cultural sports. One is anime, the country's homegrown style of animation. See, they understand the difference. The country's homegrown style of animation. It's not just cartoons, okay? Which has soared in popularity across the world in recent decades. International streaming revenues are expected to exceed 12 billion by 2030, oh my god. Up from 3.7 billion in 2023. VTubers usually have the wide eyes and cutesy aesthetic typical of anime shows. And they cute. They're likely beloved cartoon characters that can talk back from the screen. I mean, yeah, because let's be real, if you get into this, you're probably a fucking weeb, like me. But we've seen different styles, and they're also pretty cool. And there's this Twitch indie VTuber, I don't remember her name. I'm really bad with names sometimes. That she has a really interesting design. It's like a 50s kind of pin-up girl, and it's quite unique. That's pretty cool. Some people say that the first VTuber was Annoying Orange, for example, right? So, yeah, anime's gonna be the norm. Because we like anime. The other Japan side of culture, I think this is somewhat disappearing a little bit, at least in the side of things. Not so much in the corpo, because let's be real, big corpo Hololive, they are actually in idle companies. That's going to happen. In which fans develop intense emotional bonds with public figures. To deepen those bonds, idols often make themselves accessible to their fans at meet and greets events. Yeah, I was seeing those. I think they call them Roombas, even though that's not correct. Those machines with legs and an iPad, and you have the tuber going around the convention looking at things. That seems really silly. I think that's actually a really cool idea. VTubers have adapted this model to the digital realm by using super chats. Did you know that super chats were a thing before VTubers? That's because YouTube, okay? Do you know that streaming was a thing before VTubers? I know, what a concept! During a live stream, fans can send a message with a tip in the hope that the VTuber will respond. I mean, they're not wrong, but I don't like how they phrase it. It sounds so simpy. Some people just want to show support for the Oshis, okay? I think it's fine. It's the same with the flesh tubers too, you know? Minato, a Japanese VTuber who wears a silver uniform, is estimated to have made more than $500,000 from super chats in 2024. Didn't she graduate? Bad example, by the way, but I guess it's true and real. Some 70% of VTubers are female. Oh my god! I'm a minority, never gonna make it. The majority of their fans are male. The use of 20% allows VTubers to be themselves at the same time, as it prevents admirers from getting too close. Good point. I think that's actually really useful for people. I mean, some people say that the Disney community, and I hate that because it's not an actual community, but the VTuber demographic attracts really mentally unwell people, schizos as they say. And I think that's just streaming in general, being out there. Sure, we've seen some really crazy VTuber fans, but in the past, was it 1 year, year and a half, maybe 2 years, we've seen from Japan recently the guy that stabbed the woman, even though the guy was not a kid, so he was being fucked by the court of law, which is also an unfortunate situation, I suppose. And there was that American Twitch streamer, another VTuber obviously. They had the fan fly to her home to burn her car. I haven't seen a VTuber fan do that yet. Please don't, okay? As someone who has literal knowledge of any of these VTuber history or news, wow. It's actually really big. It's really big. It's also kind of niche. Because if you are, let's say, a quote-unquote boomer or quote-unquote normie, if you're not a fucking weeb or whatever, you're gonna say, anime, I don't like it, it's so strange. Are those strange cartoons from China? China. No. But at the end of the day, it's just another medium, right? But yeah, you will see that there are just a lot of crazy people out there. People are blaming the VTubers, like, they're the other guys, they're so strange. Why don't you show your face? Well, I'm showing you my best face right now. What can you say? I don't know. At the same time, a lot of people also love drama and use that for drama, so who cares? Who cares, really? Just, you better be doing your own thing, I feel. Patrick Galbraith of Senju University in Tokyo notes that VTubers' appeal lies in their free-wheeling communication style. They may only burst into song or shout random statements. The random shit some people say is just insane, it's so much fun. The other fans, called Clippers, turn these moments into short, shareable videos and subtitles. Some clips get millions of views on platforms such as TikTok. Talent agencies, for the part, welcome clipping as free marketing, and not only the agencies, but also the indies, obviously. You will see that some Chubas just become huge thanks to clipping. You will see a lot of people that are actually truly funny, and they stream to just a room full of people, which is insane. Marketing, also a big deal. There's also, well, some people say that the market is oversaturated right now, which is true, but I'm thinking that can be said about just content creation in general. I remember YouTube more than 10 years ago. Whoa! 40,000 subs! This guy is huge! Nowadays, oh, this guy has 50 million. What the fuck is this guy again? But there's also more people watching, I suppose. It is more competitive, as they say. Given that AI models can write songs, generate artwork, and have realistic conversations, might VTubers be replaced by AI tubers? Look, we're seeing a lot of push for AI with content creation and whatnot. Do you think AI can copy this brain image? Let's be real. There's an AI VTuber who sports brown hair and bows, has a large following on Twitch, a live streaming site. She plays video games and responds to fans with the help of AI models. By offering round-the-clock amusement, AI tubers can give more of what fans crave. I'm trying to push AI on this. And sure, I've seen some clips of Unero, she's really funny. But the work Vedal has done with Nurse just insane. He's been working on her for years at this point. It's also really funny when they mention, oh look, the biggest female streamers on Twitch, and they have Nurse, which is really funny because it's AI, the guy behind the channel, the creator of the AI, which is technically the actual streamer, a guy. It feels a little bit silly. And will probably be to corporatize to be as weird as an actual person. And that's actually demonstrably true. I do not follow Nurosama because I just follow a couple of people that I enjoy. There are a lot of people out there that I would probably enjoy, but I just don't have the time or the energy to try. But I do remember that this was at least months ago. Nurosama was getting a little bit too spicy, and Vidal had to neuter her a little bit. You know, there's some stuff you cannot say on Twitch and all of these places. It may get too spicy, it may get you banned. Yet the industry is singing about AI. Moto Kitanigo, the boss of Cobra Corp, which owns Whole Life Production, has said that fans are drawn to VTubers because they know there's a real person behind the screen. Someone they can connect with, empathize with, and support. So with that attractive but... Holy shit, I know how to read, I promise. They showed that attractive avatars lure viewers, but what keeps them watching is the Naga no Hito, the person inside. That is a good translation, by the way. Okay, I guess just the kind of a simple explanation of Chubas. It doesn't seem to be really that wrong. So, good job. I've seen way worse than this. Also, wasn't there like some sort of a scandal like last year with trying to bring AI for content creation with VTubers? Oh, you can just make an AI that's just like you. They can produce content all the time. Once again, do you think AI can copy this brain damage? And I've seen people that are far more unique and more interesting than me, okay? Well, they will always push AI because it's the new thing in tech, it's in right now and all that, so... It's gonna happen. They didn't really clown too much on idol culture, which... Sure, it has its flaws, but... It's also based for the industry. Even though nowadays you will have people doing pretty much anything with VTubing. at the end of the day, it's just the funny avatar on the screen and all that, right? At least, if you're not a purist, I don't consider myself a purist here. I wouldn't think. With some stuff, I wouldn't want to show myself. It's just OPSEC, as some people say. I mentioned this last week. I don't know what we were talking about, but I don't know, this strange obsession some people have of showing themselves on social media. I never liked that, and I've been on the internet for a long time. A long time. About 20 years. That says a lot about my age, I suppose. And I never had the interest of doing so. I don't know why. And I'm not going to start now, which is actually pretty useful to me. Look, it's this guy. I found his Facebook account and whatnot. Well, you didn't really. I don't know. You will not find my actual face on the internet because it's never been there, funny enough. But yeah, some people just want the clout of being a VTuber. Quote-unquote clouds. It has a lot of detriments too. But I guess it's clout if you're a woman, usually. I've seen many on Twitter being like, oh, look at me, VTuber. Look at me. And you take a look. Okay, but you're supposed to be a VTuber. Where's the model? I don't understand. And that's just me. I'm a big purist in that regard. Cannot be blamed, okay? But yeah, I have to admit, The Economist article, pretty nice. I think some people will see this as a great opportunity for quote-unquote grifting. More than grifting would be just an ironic scam. But that's it. Speaking of Japan, let's talk about a little bit about anime right now. One of the biggest names in anime is quietly supporting a legal push to cut off internet access for piracy. On one hand, I don't think they can be asked to do this, but on the other hand, this might be a little bit scary. Imagine losing your internet connection, not by court order, but because your ISP received a complaint that you might have streamed an anime episode illegally. Might, by the way. That's more exclusive than it seems, and a major legal fight could bring it into reality. Especially for anime fans who have ever clicked on an unofficial stream or download. Are we going back to watching anime on YouTube? That was pure soul, okay? It will never be allowed. Not anymore. The battle centers on a lawsuit from music giants like Universal Music Group and Capitol Records to target Grande Communications, a Texas-based internet provider. While I'm not American, so I might be safe. For now. The issue whether ISPs should be forced to disconnect users if they receive repeated piracy claims. But they're just claims. At the end of the day, they should only be claims. Because even though they do so, this is also about data collection, I suppose. Even if they do collect information about the websites you go into, they shouldn't. I don't know if that's illegal or not. I would need to read the ISP contract. But I don't think that should be legal, at least. It may sound like a music industry concern, but the consequences could hit anime fans directly. This is really funny. This is really funny because this is actually pushing for monopolies, Crunchyroll and whatnot, which actually offer subpar service. I'm just in the translations, they're really bad. Oh yeah, gotta go fight the power! Fight that Maid Dragon a screenshot people love sharing online. I've never seen the anime. Oh, why did you change your outfit? Well, just to push against the patriarchy or something like that. Like, I don't think they said that in the original. I'm gonna be real. They didn't, obviously not. ASPs may no longer be neutral. There's never neutrality, huh? EMG and Sparnus claim can't ignore repeated piracy complaints. Refuse to terminate users who allegedly violated copyright law. They're calling it contributory copyright infringement, and granting allegedly allowed piracy to happen by not responding. Isn't this guilt by association? They may have some legal basis for this one at least. Grant's defense? You're a neutral provider. Yeah, that makes sense. Now you're gonna be neutral, you have to pick a side. You're either a good guy on my side or you're evil and we have to destroy you. Is this Twitter talking about politics? It could be. They argue they only deliver internet service and shouldn't be held accountable for what individual users do. You know what? I do agree with this. Their case questions whether ISPs should be forced to investigate and act on piracy reports, raising alarm bells for anyone who watches content online. That's me. I'm anyone. Not Texan, but still. Dangerous precedent. Why does impact anime viewers? Music and anime are deeply connected. Anime is full of copyrighted soundtracks, opening themes, and background scores. Some of the companies involved in this debate have strong links to anime itself. Sony Music, for example, owns Aniplex, a key anime production studio, and Crunchyroll, one of the largest anime streaming services. Fucking Crunchyroll again. While Sony isn't part of this particular lawsuit, they have publicly supported harsher piracy policies, including suspending internet access. Now that we talk about this, didn't they push against a bunch of piracy sites for the past year and a half? I feel like that is correct. I need to take a sip of my water. I'm dying a little bit. So obviously, as usual, right? This is just about money. Well, where's my part? Well, how about you make a good translation for once, huh? If that case changes the law, any fans may be next in line. The oppression is real. That includes those who stream unlicensed episodes, read the scanned manga, or use file-sharing platforms. Oh my god. You can look at me, okay? You can look at me. I still need to finish Hand no Keiji. So slow. So slow! I'm reading a manga in language I don't fully understand, okay? So difficult. Well, it's not that difficult, it's just time-consuming. It's tough to get into. What Frank is saying, Vin's taking this fight to the US Supreme Court. They're asking whether ISPs should be punished simply for not cutting users off after receiving piracy notices. Are you going to pay them back? At least? Their argument covers several major points. Verifying copyright claims isn't easy or accurate. True. Shared connections, like households or dorms, complicate identifying who actually committed the infringement. Also fair. Terminating internet access can seriously disrupt lives, affecting remote work, online education, and even healthcare. But obviously they don't care. Where's my money? Oh! Stop it! You're right there. You're watching an AMV on the YouTube from 2008? I don't care if it's Dragon Ball. You're getting killed, and I'm taking your money. And then I consider myself a penny pincher? Stop it. Gandhi says copyright holders should pursue infringers directly, not shift that responsibility to ISPs. As I argue that lawsuits targeting users already exist and should be the first option, not cutting off someone's access to a basic utility. Now it's considered a basic utility, huh? Interesting. I don't think it's wrong. Calling it a basic utility, I mean. But at the same time, yeah, ISPs, a lot of them don't really work that well. And do you think they can be asked to do this? No. Now, if you thought government workers were lazy, you haven't seen ISPs. Holy shit. I don't want to see a government-owned ISP. Not in my lifetime. Safe harbor at risk. The last of those challenges protections under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the MCA, a law from 1998. God, you don't hate the MCA enough. The MCA allows ESPs to avoid liability if they have a policy for dealing with repeat infringers. Interesting. Just claims. Just claim, singular, only single claim. The Crown ignored this requirement. According to them, Crown didn't suspend the users even after many complaints. The court accepted the argument, ruling against Grandy and awarding significant damages. Oh, that's a little bit dangerous, I have to admit. Now, Grandy says this decision creates legal uncertainty and conflicts with previous rulings from other courts. We're asking the Supreme Court to step in and settle it. Could this affect your connection? I'm not from Texas, so I guess not, but maybe so, who knows? If the court sides with the labels, it may lead to a major change in how internet access works. Also, really scary in general. SPs could start cutting off users based on unproven complaints. Is this 1984? Is this Animal Farm? God fucking damn it. You would expect this from the UK. ISPs could... just read it. That includes people watching unlicensed anime episodes or reading manga online without permission. But I don't have permission because I can do whatever I want. That's a larger concern. What happens to your rights if you're wrongly accused? How can you challenge your claim before losing access? Right now, those questions don't have clear answers. Once again, the slippery slope, they tell you it's not real. I thought it was innocent until proven guilty. This is the opposite. Guilty until proven innocent if you're lucky. This case could mark the beginning of stricter enforcement, which has been a trend for 11 years? 13 years? Something like that. Not good. Not just for music, but for all digital media, including anime and manga. This will affect everything. Make no mistake about it. We're waiting to see if the Supreme Court will hear the case. Their decision could reshape copyright enforcement for years to come. Whether they take it or not, just count could affect millions of people and possibly encourage other entertainment companies to follow suit. This also follows a little bit the archiving argument we have with games, for example. Sure, it's illegal, I guess. It's not a lie to say it's illegal to watch their stuff on the internet and whatnot. But what about a bunch of anime? What about manga? What about a bunch of games that are lost to the ages, and you can only access them thanks to these sites? I know I keep mentioning The Legends of the Future King 2 for the Game Boy Color, but what about good example, Hana no Keiji? For the longest time, it was only localized into Italian. It will be getting an actual translation into English later this year. That manga's from the 80s. We're talking about 40 years. Okay. What about those old Dragon Quest animes? For example. What about Super Big Kuriman? Kind of shit that only I know about. Yeah? Yeah, how about old school Hoshingengi? I don't like the new one as much, even though it was actually close to the manga. How about that? That's also a big problem. That's why Internet Archive keeps fighting. Because they're trying to archive literally everything, which is a lot of work and whatnot, but I think it's important. How many Doctor Who episodes from way back in the day have been lost to the ages? I don't think they're actually anywhere, from what I've heard. I don't know. That makes sense. But now it's the animes. Yeah, the waves. And look, some of these platforms are actually expensive. It doesn't really offer you good service anyway. Especially you, Crunchyroll. especially you, Crunchyroll games. Do you have to mention Princess Connect again? Because I will. Will be the second time this week, funny enough. I can only wait and see. What do we have here? Oh, speaking of Japan. Did you know that we love Japan here? Imagine that. Let's talk about Casting the Shield creator for a little bit. From Niche Gamer. Casting the Shield... Oh, director, my bad. Mamoru Oshii. Since political correctness made Western games terrible. I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong. You cannot be a little bit spicy anymore. Just a small excerpt from the interview, I guess. In a recent interview, legendary anime film director Mamoru Oshii called out political correctness, saying that he has a strong aversion to it. He has a strong aversion to it in his work. Oshii is famous for his work throughout the 80s, 90s, and aughts, including direct titles such as Pet Labor, the movie, Ghost in the Shell, and being the writer for Jinro, the Wolf Brigade. That's not me, okay? Just a different guy. It's just a common name. In an interview with PN News, Oshii took the time to mention political correctness, and the role it has in media as a potential tool of censorship and insincerity. And before reading this, we have to do this call back to Yuji Horii and... what was his name again? Only Matsudaira comes to mind. I know it's not Matsudaira, okay? Torishima. The editor for Dragon Ball. For Akira Toriyama, I suppose. Complaining about the rules from overseas and whatnot, and how they kinda limit their work, even though their H rating is not good anyway. But there's just trouble abound. Political correctness started from the idea of giving legitimacy to the socially weak. There's nothing wrong with that. In a mature society, it is a natural responsibility. However, the problem is that it has taken that as a starting point and made the socially weak into the strong. Yeah, that's a really good point. They were given priority in getting to school and priority in finding a job. What's more, the companies that advise them charge them ridiculous amounts in consulting fees. Talking about sweet baby, I don't think that's the case, but it's really funny. Mention consultancies. King companies ask for hundreds of millions of yen from them. Wow, that's a lot of money. Basically, it's based on admiration. If you deny admiration, entertainment loses its reason for existence as entertainment. In the past, even if you said beautiful people, let's say it was discriminatory. Western games are really terrible. And just gets cut off here with political correctness. Yes, says something like political correctness to blame, I suppose. In recent years, fans have been increasingly skeptical of politically motivated censorship and corporate meddling, considering them at the very least to be insincere, if not outright detrimental to the creative process. Nothing really to add here. I think this is really spot on. How many games have we seen getting censored in really stupid ways? Once again, Dragon Quest 3, the HD 2D version they released last year. If it was fine back in the day, why is it not right now? I just don't get it. Another good example of this would be Netflix remakes of classic anime, like Urusei Yatsura or Ranma. Back in my day, in Urusei Yatsura from the late 70s, you could say full ass titty, okay, and it was fine. And now you have no titties allowed with the new Urusei Yatsura. And with Ranma, well, you can see the titty, but Ranma is just the nipple-less freak, which doesn't make any sense. Just add some censorship on top, okay? Oh man. And I was talking with some people the other day, and some people that I know tendentially. Wow, normies. Normies are actually quite depressing to look at. oh look, this is what's really wrong with the world. I'm like, okay, that's just a mild inconvenience. There are piles of shit you could be pointing at, but they're not gonna make it. Not like this. So extremely disappointing. And it's really funny when that kind of people will try to clone on me. No, you're wrong. You're just so evil. Like, you know, no, that's not it. I've been looking at this shit for 10 years. Constantly, I know what's going on with the world. At least more than them. It's not... Oh, racism is so bad. Which is really funny, right? They will tell you, racism is bad. Pedophilia is bad. Sure, that's bad. But it only matters when it's some groups. Which is... strange to say the least. If something is bad, I don't care who does it. It's bad nonetheless. Political correctness. It's so sad to see people that were pretty wild back in my day becoming not only just mellowed down versions of themselves, but weak versions of themselves. So sad to see. Once again, I'm reminded I can't really have people change their minds. Even though I'm right most of the time. Sad existence, I have to admit. Oh well, what do we have here? More stuff from Japan! More legal stuff from Japan, actually. Funny enough. Let's talk about Pal World a little bit, shall we? But that's the score, that's for later. Pal World argues state the existence of Titanfall 2, Ark, and even The Legend of Zelda invalidates Nintendo's patents. Not necessarily they invalidate the patents, but it would invalidate the lawsuits. I assume. Pocket Bear has responded to Nintendo's legal action by asserting the patents the company believes Pocket Bear has contravened are invalid to other games that came before it, including Ark Survival Evolved, Tomb Raider, and even Nintendo's own Legend of Zelda series. As reported by Games Ray, thanks to VGC, Pal World developer Pocket Bear challenged Nintendo's patent applications, I don't know what it said there, which were reportedly filed between February and July 2024, several weeks and months after the Monster Collecting game debuted in January of the same year. Once again, those are the global ones, not the Japanese ones. Sadly, I would love to clone Nintendo for this, but the dates are not correct here. Pocket Bear maintains through preparatory briefs that Nintendo's patents and suit should have been granted given games using the systems and art protected by the patents were already in existence. Also, is Nintendo really going to shit among about people copying them when they were pretty much copying Dragon Quest with Pokemon? Come on now. Specifically, the developers that the patents contravening are already in place in Ark Survival Evolved, Pocket Souls, and Songcraftopia, as well as a whole list of other notable references, including Final Fantasy XIV, Tomb Raider, Far Cry 5, Titanfall 2, Octopath Traveler, Pikmin 3, Monster Hunter Ultimate, and a range of prior Pokemon games. What do they mean Monster Hunter Ultimate? 3? 4? I don't know. They mean Freedom Unite? No idea anymore. Also, yeah, you cannot really talk about prior Pokemon games, because it's Pokemon games that are trying to clone on you. Pocket Bear states that games like From Factory 5, Titanfall 2, and Pikmin 3 Deluxe make it easy to see how a player character can perform an action, to release a monster or a captured item, like a ball, and firing in direction by releasing a button. Whilst Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Far Cry 3, and Tomb Raider already show that there can be different types of throwable objects. Furthermore, Pocket Salt, I don't know what that is, seems like a scam game. Octopath Traveler, Monster Super League, and Final Fantasy XIV made this to imagine. One could pick targets on the field and then show an indication of how likely the capture operation is to succeed. And generally speaking, it has been an element of the Pokemon series for more than 30 years. The different capture items have different success rates. I mean, yeah, obviously. You're going to clone TP for this? I hope not. Well, they're not actually throwing the item, I suppose. It's not actually a catch rate when you throw it. Ah, they cover their asses, huh? Never thought about it. If, like Pocket Bear believes, all these games already invalidate Nintendo's patents. Doesn't matter what the real world does what such a patent describes. You can infringe an invalid patent all you want. Just holy shit. So no question, the Pocket Bear and its lawyers have made a huge effort to develop many invalidity and non-infringement arguments to prove him by Games Ray, prepared by a patent specialist Japanese lawyer states. Again, a single such argument for a given patent is enough to be cleared with respect to that patent. But intent is swing over 3 patents, and Pocket Bear won't want to lose for any single one of them. Well, yeah, no shit. If they do, it's gonna be a huge loss of money for them. Excuse me. Wrote this a little bit rough today. As your gamer summarized recently, comparisons were made between Pocket Bear's own monster catching title and Pokemon, even since Pokemon was first revealed. The Pokemon with guns ahead of its early access release last year. Yeah, but that was the fans. That was not Pocket Bear. Let me take a sip here. I'm croaking a little bit. That was the fans talking us back. Fuck. There we go. What about... Oh, fuck, which game was it again? Didn't they call something like Far Cry... Something like Skyrim with guns? That's just the fans being silly. Pokemon Company former Chief Legal Officer, Tom McGowan, said he was surprised the game had got this far, before Nintendo finally announced it was suing Pocket Bear infringement for multiple patents in September. Because, by Pocket Bear's own admission, they were working with the legal side to make sure they were not breaking any copyright laws, which was the case because the game actually released. It was later confirmed the lawsuit was targeting 3 patents in particular. Part of an update in December, Pocket Bear subsequently removed the ability to summon creatures by throwing Pokemon-style Pulse Spheres. But despite this, Pocket Bear has released the game... in-game or the game? On Nintendo Switch. Consider bringing Power to Switch to... Over Dungeon, okay. I see how it is. Yeah, a lot of Nintendo seems trying to climb upon world. Wow! It's going away. It's going away. They're cheating and that. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. You know, I don't really know about that one. And we've seen the patterns, and some of them are extremely silly. I don't think they halt the scrutiny. Even if they want to, I don't think they halt the scrutiny here. Because you have some stuff that's like, okay, but what about using mounts? Do you really believe that Legends Arceus was the first game to add mounts to the game? What about MMOs? What about World of Warcraft? For example. Or I think there was something... I think some people mentioned that. I don't know if that's actually in the lawsuit. The... Lighting glider. So you don't crash with full damage. Sure, Breath of the Wild had that. What about Genshin Impact? What about fucking Ion of all things? There were actually wings, but the mechanics pretty much not the same, but quite similar. I don't think it helps the scrutiny. They're just trying to squash the opposition, even though the opposition is actually being quite fair. And I do have to mention once again, but haven't you seen on Twitter? They were ripping off the models from the Pokemon games, and the fellow that made a Twitter thread back in the day came about like a week after that, saying that it was actually fake. It was actually not real. They actually modified the models for them to fit the shapes and whatnot. And some people still doubt that as truth to this day. They say that was fake. It was admitted by the guy that made the thread. And the detractors will tell you, no, that fake, false. They're just ripping off the game. If that was the case, knowing how strict Japanese law is, the game could never release. Not like that, okay? Not like that. I do hope Pogworld wins this one. Once again, I don't think you should be able, even though it's been done before, but you shouldn't be able to copyright game mechanics like this. But I guess the Mordor games did it, so that could happen right now. There was also a huge debacle back then with the open source stuff with Dungeons and Dragons. We read about it. God, it was late 2023 at this point. God, I feel so old. Legal fights. I still buy physical games? I actually don't, but I don't have anything that can run physical games anyway. So there's that. So, I guess it's time to get into Discord. What's happening with Discord? Is it getting better? It's never getting better, it's Discord. Come on now. Discord, what's going on here? Passing the torch. Surely this is gonna be good. People are clowning a lot on the Discord guys right now. And you know what? I think it makes sense. I think the platform is gonna get worse. And it's been getting worse for a long time. Wow, then you want to get microtransactions on your chatting app? No. How about no? A message sent to Discord employees from CEO Jason Citron. His decision to transition out of the role and appointing Human Seknini as the company's new chief executive. Ah, Indians. The H-1Bs are here. Hi everyone, we have some big news to share. So I'll cut right to the chase. We have hired a new CEO to lead Discord through our next chapter of growth and someday becoming a public company. Surely becoming a public company is good, right? It never is. I've just seen Cover Corp. I'm thrilled to share that Human... Is the guy actually human? This is the most fake human name we've ever seen. Hello, fellow humans. What's your name? Human. What? I don't think I said anything. It's still funny. Mem Seknini will take on this role, and I will continue as a member for board of directors and advisor to the CEO. Read on for details. I guess we will. Building this role has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I bet it was. Probably a lot of money. From the very beginning, our mission has been about bringing people together around games. It's a mission I've dedicated my career to, and seeing it come to life through all of you and the impact we've made together has been nothing short of extraordinary. I've learned more than I ever imagined and I'm deeply grateful for so many friendships, challenges, and achievements along the way. As we enter our next phase, I've been reflecting on how I can best contribute to Discord's long-term success. The job of the CEO is constantly evolving. Over the years, I have continuously hired myself out of a job. Each of them is delegating work and then taking on different leadership challenges. However, as I look at what is needed of Discord's CEO over the next few years, I realize that it's time for me to literally hire myself out of a job. Okay, I suppose that makes sense. There's gonna be a lot of patting himself in the back. That could be it. One thing I know for sure, the company is bigger than any one person. I mean, yeah. Its future depends not just on me, but on a strong leadership team and clear vision for what comes next. Now of your incredible talent, care, and hard work. Today's Discord has all of that. It's by far the best version of the company we've ever had. Are we sure? We have a clear strategy, new business lines to grow into, love and passion from our users, an incredible team of people working tirelessly to deliver for them. During this position of strength, it feels like the right time to transition from CEO to board member and advisor. So I am thrilled to welcome Humam Sagnini as the next CEO of Discord. After spending significant time together, I have complete confidence in his ability to lead us into the future alongside Stan and the rest of our executive team. Okay, yeah, they're going to mention it here. Humam brings more than 15 years of experience in the gaming industry, including at Activision Blizzard. Surely that's good news! Where he served as Chief Strategy Officer, helping guide franchises like World of Warcraft and Call of Duty. I don't think those have been good in a long time, though. He later took over from the founders of King to delight the players of their live service games, while substantially growing the King business in the public market. Everything they're saying here is actually really scary if you use Discord. Human and I are fundamentally aligned that creating long-term value requires long-term thinking and focusing on an amazing user experience. I am excited for his collaborative approach to fostering a creative environment for you all to continue delivering for our customers. Well, first day will be on Monday, April 28th, and I'll continue to be around as he onboards and in the background to support him in an advisory capacity. While my role will evolve as a board member and advisor, my commitment and love for Discord remains the same. I've always said that so many of my most precious memories around games are around games, and there are countless ones with so many of you. It's not much to recount, but I want to especially thank Stan for his partnership. It's truly been an honor to bring Discord to the world together. Thank you all for your dedication, belief, and hard work over the years. The stories we tell, the products we create, the programs we run, all of it. It's the result of all your passion and energy. You're what makes Discord what it is today, because you give a shit about... I give many shit sometimes. About our customers and your craft. I believe this evolution sets up for even greater success in the years to come. I sing up with immense gratitude for our users and the hundreds of millions of people who choose Discord as the place to spend time and play games with their friends. Someone to know how beloved our platform is and the importance of the work we do together to continue delighting our customers in new and exciting ways. The company's gonna go public, and it's gonna be shit, because it happens all the fucking time. They're going to have even more monetization, which is always bad for this kind of platforms, because it doesn't make any sense. We read last week, they're trying to implement, or maybe they're actually implementing already, face scanning or ID scanning to make sure you're an adult, and you're an adult when you're trying to interact with adult content. It's only going to get worse. So once again, I had to tell people, stop saving everything on Discord. Especially because I've seen this happening time and time again. If you make mods for games, if you make ROM hacks and whatnot, I hate having to go to your Discord. Why don't you have just a small website? You could just have something like what's the name again? Blogspot. It's free. It's fine. Just have something mirrored for that. If you make hacks, why not ROM hacking? Why not ROM hack Plaza, for example, right? Because when your server crashes and burns, and it will happen sooner or later, all of that is gone with the wind. That seems like a bad idea. Also, if you're making mods, don't just upload them to next mods, okay? They are extremely censorious. There are other sites. Some people mentioned DG mods, I don't know if they're the same, banana mods and all that. Don't you want people to play your shit if you make shit to play? Stop trying to use Discord for that. God, how is that so difficult to understand? I only hope people start changing their tune a little bit with this change here. Can only hope. Is it going to happen? I do have my doubts, sadly. But oh well. What can be done about it? Not much. Not much, I'm afraid. Let's see. What else do we have? We have a bunch of strange stuff around right now. So let's read something stupid about Star Wars and then get into strange tech stuff. I do enjoy tech stuff. So how about this one? This was making the rounds on Twitter the other day. The Empire's a white supremacist organization. Star Wars shouts tag on Trump 2.0. Surely, guys, surely, if we keep trying to clown on the president, people will enjoy our product. Why not make good product and shut up? They have been trying to be so politically motivated for a long time. I don't think it works. I don't think it works. Man, babies of MAGA. Well, I know now these guys are not going to agree with me, probably. There's also another tweet making the rounds, something like, finally, the next Star Wars is gonna be not for guys. And I was thinking, I thought that's been the case for 10 years. What are you guys talking about again? What about the power of two? Premiered this week, the second and final season of Star Wars streaming show Andor seems destined to be one of the pop culture defining moments of the second Trump presidency. Are you sure? The guy just became president the other day. That's still a long time. Still a long time to go. Andor, which began airing in 2022, tells the story of the early days of the Rebel Alliance, before the adventures of Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. The series is the most political articulate of the Star Wars franchise. Okay, sure, I will admit, Star Wars always had politics. But when people say take out the politics, they mean take out the real world politics, which is not the same. Sure, they have the Empire. I don't think the Empire is just Orange Man, and it shouldn't be. Where all the Star Wars answers focus on lightsaber battles and dogfights in space, and the shows a world of political manifestos, fractious alliances between rival groups, and surreptitious, I think that's a typo, fundraising for a revolution. I think the prequels tried to do something like that and people didn't like it. What changed the people? Well, maybe this is lower quality, which wouldn't surprise me anyway. Season 1 of the show followed the political awakening. Political awakening, by the way, oh my god. As the titular casting Andor, who progresses from triple thief to total ideological commitment to fighting the Empire. The show also follows the counter-revolutionary leader, an ineffective politician who secretly finances the rebellion, and two Imperials maneuvering for power. Showrunner Tony Gilroy has so far taken inspiration for Andor from a variety of real historical revolutionary events. From Stanley's bank robbery in Tiflis in 1907 to the Bader Meinhof Group in West Germany. How curious. Just how curious. Aesthetically, Andor has more in common with the political filmmaking of the likes of The Battle of Algiers, 1966, the events of Cours de Gabres, an early Paul Greengrass, and the central Flash Gordon-inspired Star Wars saga. Yeah, don't think that's necessarily great. We'll see what happens. As authoritarian governments and conflicts loom large globally, authoritarian governments and conflicts loom large globally. You know what? I agree with that, but I know it means something completely different than what they're trying to say. The final season of Andor in 2025 is perfectly timed to articulate anxieties much closer to home than the galaxy far, far away. Is this article gonna be Orange Man bad again? It keeps happening. Star Wars has always been political. And as far from the first time the Star Wars has captured the political zeitgeist. In fact, much of the franchise's success stems from the way it provides us with the pop cultural language to talk about politics. I don't think that is correct. Political conflict in fiction can be interesting. It doesn't have to be a pop culture language to talk about politics. This is probably the worst argument you could make if you wanted me to watch this. It's gonna be, oh, look again. Look again, yet another propaganda piece from some stupid ideologues that can only make subpar shows because they're too worried about politics instead of making good product. Imagine that. In 2016, Translation Wing coincided with the release of Rogue One, the Star Wars precursor to Andor. Within days, the Star Wars creators made public comparisons between Trump and Rogue One's villains, with writer Chris Weitz posting on Twitter. The Empire's white supremacist human organization, Mr. Gary White, replied, opposed by a multicultural group led by brave women. If there's human supremacists, they might be the good guys. We had to mention how's the name again? Starship Troopers! Oh my god. Starship Troopers. I'm a little bit slow sometimes. They were officially reprimanded by the studio. Yeah, no shit. This is a film that the world should enjoy, said Disney CEO Bob Iger, which is not a good guy either. But imagine that. It's not a film that is, in any way, a political film. Under the ownership of a risky corporation like Disney, Star Wars is supposed to be family-friendly, apolitical entertainment. No, you stupid son of a bitch! What Bob Iger said, you don't need to make political statements about the real world with your products. Which makes sense, this shouldn't be a new concept. But I guess for some people it might be. Keeps happening. However, since its very conception, Star Wars has been political. Inspired by anti-Vietnam War protests, director George Lucas described Darth Vader and the Empire as Nixonian gangsters in early drafts of the original film's script. Lucas, who had developed Apocalypse Now for Francis Ford Coppola, ultimately directed the film, has consistently claimed to have thought of the Rebel Alliance as similar to North Vietnamese fighters resisting United States forces. Okay, one thing would be extrapolating something to make an appealing story, because let's be real, a lot of fiction is based on history or myths. But the movies were never drawing direct comparison to that. OG Star Wars never said Nixon bad and Vietnam good. Imagine that. When it came time for the prequel trilogy in the 2000s, Lucas told the story of democracy willingly fall into dictatorship, beginning with the trade war, something not less than contemporary observers. In 2005, Lucas even had Darth Vader paraphrase George W. Bush. That finds Bush comparisons. Is this actually true? Hold up. Fucking CBS. Let us see. Let us see if this is factually true and real. We're gonna be skimming through this a little bit. It's not long, but we're gonna be skimming through this. Let us see. Okay, Stephen Biden's Bush comparisons from 2005. Let's see. Tenants from the movie especially resonated. It's how liberty dies with thunderous applause. Mountains Padme Amidala. The Galactic Senate cheers dictator in waiting Palpatine, while he and S crusade against the Jedi. You're not with me, then you're my enemy. Hayden Christensen's Anakin. The former mentor Obi-Wan. The Lion kills Mr. Bush's international ultimatum after September 11th. Attacks. Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists. I don't think it's a good comparison. That's not a good comparison at all. I think that means what you think it means. And what's the most perfect citation of Bush? Because they're throwing a line. It's time to stop the flip-flopping around, right? Plus you gotta be a politician trying to increase his power to wage a phony war. The brother was written years ago, the anti-British tribe is screwed there, English said. So this is just copium. Just pure copium, you say, okay. Fine. It wasn't even a proper paraphrase, I don't think. Associate politics, scholars and critics like Andrew Britton and Robin... Not Robin Hood, but Robin Wood. Argue the Star Wars was escapist and disconnected from politics here on Earth, that it set the scene for Ronald Reagan's good versus evil rhetoric. I don't think that is true. Good versus evil... Maybe I'm biased. Sure, I'm biased. I'm biased all the time. Who the fuck cares anymore? But a lot of people believe in good versus evil, and the older you get, and the more you look at what's happening in the world, you might believe more and more about this good versus evil. I've seen some people close to me do that. Some people I will never respect. And you can mention stuff being good and stuff being bad, because if you're living in a country, you should have a somewhat common set of morals and values. It's not a new concept. In Galaxy Not So Far Away, it's precisely Star Wars' a political image. It gives too much political utility. Okay, now they're admitting it's for propaganda reasons. It is with such strong heroes and villains, it inevitably invites comparison. Almost immediately after its release in 1977, Star Wars became a pop culture language for understanding politics. Are we sure? Is this revisionism? I could believe that. I mean, Maggie Thatcher? I don't think you're close enough to that woman. One government in the UK on May 4th, 1979, the Conservative Party took out an advertisement in the London Evening News, congratulating her with words, "May the 4th be with you." I just think that's a silly coincidence, right? I think that's a huge statement about Star Wars or anything. Ronald Reagan proposed the Strategic Defense Initiative missile system in 1983. Critics immediately and famously labeled it Star Wars. Something Lucas tried unsuccessfully to stop. Reagan himself eventually joined Ding too, claiming in his speech in 1985 that the Force is with us. God, I don't think it's that bad. This reminds me of Pokemon Go to the polls, holy shit. That's boomer politicians trying to appeal to the youngsters. How do you do, fellow kids? It never worked. Stop trying. It's easy to find examples of politicians of all stripes being likened to Star Wars villains like Darth Vader. Most enduring was Dick Cheney. He claimed to not mind the comparison. I don't think this is a good point. I don't think this is making a great argument that you think it's making. Because the same could be said of Harry Potter of all things. The thing with Harry Potter is that it shows that people that draw those comparisons are extremely stupid and they don't understand what they're talking about. And worst of all, they cannot talk about serious topics without trying comparison to fictional stories. Which is really funny. I don't remember which woman was it. Ah, this is just like Dolores Umbridge from the Harry Potter... I was about to say games. Books. I'm like, okay, you could just say she's bad. You're taking away from your own argument for being a fucking moron. President Williams' Imperial March has been played at protests as a way to antagonize opponents. The thing is, the Empire is kind of cool. The Imperial March is also pretty cool. It goes hard, what can you say? It's just like the Helldiver shit all over again. The propaganda never ends. The enduring currency of the political language of Star Wars is in part due to its generalities. In any political conflict, it helps to have a way to describe an archetypal evil puppet master, the Emperor, his henchman, Darth Vader, and the solver heroes putting their lives on the line, the Jedi. Sure, but that's also based on means that happened. I don't know. What about the War of Troy, for example, huh? What about, I don't know, something that's perhaps a little bit more official, like, God, do I speak in good terms of the French? The French Revolution? I still have my doubts about the French Revolution. Once again, it's good versus evil, and we are supposed to be the good guys. It doesn't matter who you are, you're always supposed to be the good guy, right? They're not trying to Star Wars ongoing relevance, however. Ongoing relevance! I'm gonna need citation for that one. I think it's very real inspirations, with it George Bush, the Viet Cong, or the Bolsheviks? What year is this? 1915? Star Wars has stemming again turned the specifics of political history into mythology. At a time where menacing global politics have set the stage for the Empire to strike back, the violent system of fandom may give many a language to articulate a new hope. God, so cringe. Oh my god, so fucking cringe, dude. Thank God the Emperor's on Chairman. Ah, yeah, that's the word. Fuck you. Fuck you, dang! How about that one? This is really funny. Because I think it becomes a problem when we try to draw comparisons. The same comparisons because the themes are pretty much the same. Which is the archetype of the Daimao, right? It's really common in Japanese media. The Great Evil King. And the young hero. Ah, but if it's Star Wars, then it's based. It's based because they agree with me. But then if we mention the Lord of the Rings, that's a problem. Ah, that's a problem. Because they're fighting against black people. I don't know. Saying that orcs and black people are literally the same? Now that's fucking racist. I bet they also quite dislike that Aragorn is actually a king. I feel like that happens a little bit too much. Sad. So sad. Once again, trying to use entertainment as a political weapon. Stop it. Just stop it. Just make a good product. Shut up, man. So annoying. So annoying. Okay, what else do we have here? What else do we have? Take a gander here on the side. Okay. Let's get into some tech stuff. Do you guys like technology? I do like some technology from time to time. But new technology is actually quite scary. I found this recently. It's not a new article, this is from February this year. But it seems a little bit scary. It might be in nothing burger, but it's a little bit scary, not gonna lie. Let's take a look into Subsense. Subsense emerges from stealth within... there's only 70 million in seed funding for a non-surgical brain-computer interface. Do you like cyberpunk? You better, you're living in one. I'm butchered that phrase a little bit. Please bear with me. Subsense Inc., a new technology company developing the first non-surgical nanoparticle-based brain-computer interface, emerged on stealth today. That's February 18th. From stealth today to formally reveal its efforts in the emerging field of non-invasive brain connectivity. Co-founded by neurotech entrepreneur Tatiana Alexandrova. Fucking Russians. She has to Slavic, I know. And serial entrepreneur Artem Sokolov, Subsense has raised $17 million in seed funding led by Sokolov's Golden Falcon Capital. Oh, the White Falcon is real. To accelerate the development of bidirectional nanoparticle-based technologies that connect the human brain with external sources. Substance is working with the consortium of leading international neurological research institutions, which include UC Santa Cruz and ETH Zurich, Switzerland's Federal Institute of Technology. Brain-computer interfacing promises to unlock limitless human potential, but innovation has been held back by a lack of effective non-surgical approaches, said Tatiana, Substance's chief executive officer. By delivering nanoparticles that bind with receptors in the brain, Substance can achieve more extensive connectivity with a far gentler approach. Holy shit, I cannot believe it! Senator Armstrong was right. Nanomachine, son. Oh my god. Insane. Through targeted neural stimulation and precise monitoring via nanoparticles, Substance is developing therapeutics for patients with neurological conditions such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, depression, strokes, chronic pain, and more. Depression thrown there a little bit interesting. Canadians came up with a different solution. Could be a little bit too final. Switching of nanoparticles into brain-computer interfaces marks a significant advancement in neuroscience. The system on a nanoparticle approach could greatly enhance the precision of neural communication, offering new possibilities for treating excuse me, my throat. Neurodegenerative diseases and expanding human cognitive abilities, said Professor Ellie A. Yannick, Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, UC Santa Cruz, a Substance research partner. The company is also targeting more expensive applications for larger stages such as instrumental recovery of vision, hearing, and movement. Interesting. Inner-speech decoding and thought translation, which I don't really know what they mean by this, but it sounds a little bit strange. Integration with AI, emerging brain, and artificial neural networks, which is extremely scary. Spider-Man 2, anyone? External memory as an instant backup and extended capacity. On one hand, that seems cool, on the other hand, that seems a little bit scary. Mental health regulation, happiness monitoring, and control. Ooh, that sounds so dystopian. Appetite control? What the hell? Identification and managing of regulatory mechanisms. Do you know that you actually need to eat as a human? I know, right? What a concept. Substance is adopting a very different approach to unlock a key area of medical potential. The ability to interact with the brain, by offering an alternative to complicated and acute neurosurgical implantations. Substance holds promises for tens of millions of neurocompromised patients, said Artem Sokolov, general partner, Golden Falcon Capital and Substance co-founder. Sokolov has been an investor in companies that include SpaceX, Ascent, I don't know what it is, Sophie, I don't know what it is, SoFi maybe? Cultural Lemonade, that's a good company. DigitalOcean, among many others. To learn more about Substance's novel neurosurgical approach to brain-computer interfaces, visit this now. About Substance, yeah, that's pretty much what you said up there. And once again, I'm not against technology. I'm not against even the brain chips that Elon was making, because it was really promising for healthy stuff and whatnot, right? After all, if you can recover people that cannot walk anymore, or they're blind and whatnot, that's actually really good. That's actually really useful. The problem is everything else. Integration with AI, external memory, I'm still on the fence with that. Mental health regulation, you will own nothing and you will be happy because we will make you happy with the regulation. Appetite control, I see the utility for this, but at the same time, you know that there will always be problems with this. What about if they hack it? What about if the company says no? What about if the government gets hold of it and says no? Or even worse, That's really scary shit, man. Oh my god. I guess technology is actually really scary after all. But technology is not going to stop. I guess I will end up living in actual cave at this rate. Living in cave might be cozy, right? Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. I'm gonna need internet still. Speaking of technology and internet and new stuff, right? I found this like a week and a half ago. I think this is really funny. I don't know if this is true, but I think it's really funny. Let me take a sip first and we get into the article. I know, I've been complaining for a long time about people being unable to use computers, especially young people, which is pretty interesting. But, new study, a lack of intelligence, not training, may be why people struggle with computers. You don't know how to use the computer? You might be stupid. Don't worry, we all are a little bit stupid. Research say that a person's intelligence plays a bigger role in their computer proficiency than previously believed. So much so that practice alone may not be enough to ensure ease of use. And you have to remember, technology has been getting more and more quote-unquote convenient for the past 10 to 15 years, to the point that if you know how to actually use the computers, it's a detriment to you, because you lose control. A new study has found that general cognitive abilities such as perception, reasoning, and memory are more important than previously believed in determining a person's ability to perform everyday tasks on a computer. I believe it. I truly believe it. Especially perception. Have you seen people nowadays? They seem absolutely blind. Quite literally. Quite literally. Our research findings are the first clear proof that cognitive abilities have a significant, independent, and wide-ranging effect on people's ability to use a computer. Contrary to what was previously thought, cognitive abilities are as important as previous experience of computer use, says Aalto University's professor Antti Olasvirta. That guy Indian too? Who studied human-computer interaction extensively with his team. I mean, it's like, so probably. Maybe not. I have no idea. Who cares? The researchers emphasized that findings raise concerns about digital equality. Digital equality? Oh my god, this is going a different way than expected. As user interfaces have grown increasingly complex, no? Quite literally the opposite. Practice alone is no longer enough. Cognitive ability is now a key factor in successfully navigating digital environments. Everything has gotten extremely simplistic, to a fault. What do you mean, complex? If only that was the case. It is clear that differences between individuals can be eliminated simply by means of training. In the future, user interfaces need to be streamlined for simpler use. Buddy, I think we are in that future already. If they're too stupid, even then, it's not my fault. This age-old goal has been forgotten at some point. Unaccurately designed interfaces have become a driver for digital divide. Am I going crazy? Are interfaces actually more complex right now? I don't think that is true. Sure, I guess I can agree that some buttons are not intuitive, like, oh, this is settings, okay, well, why is it 3 dots or 3 lines? It makes no sense. Give it a cog symbol and call it a day. We can promote a deeper and more equal use of computers in society unless we solve this basic problem. But maybe it doesn't have to be equal. Maybe some people deserve less, as a joke. For legal reasons. It shows that some people are not prepared to be on the internet right now. Also, minors. On a side note, the research was carried out jointly by researchers from the Aalto University Department of Information and Communications Engineering and the University of Helsinki Department of Psychology. It's still the most significant factor. I'm not that sure Test subjects belonging to different age groups participated in the study. They were given 18 different tasks, and the researchers observed how they performed. The tasks include the software installation, navigation, use of spreadsheets, and filling in forms. Okay, let's be real. Spreadsheets are kind of ass. It really depends on the kind of system you're using for them, because they have different syntax, and sometimes different language. That has screwed me over at some point, especially with dates. Mind you. Dates are always such a pain in the ass. The estimation of cognitive abilities is based on a standardized and well-established measurement method in the field. This is the first ever study to measure users' actual ability to perform daily tasks on a PC, as previous studies have relied on participants self-assessing their abilities via questionnaires. We know that people may have a false sense of their own abilities, which is why it was important to measure how well they actually performed in the tasks, says University lecturer Viljami Salmela from the University of Helsinki. Maybe they're just Scandinavian. They're also a mystery to me, what can you say? The study revealed that, in particular, working memory, attention... I think I skipped... Yeah, I skipped one. The study provided a wealth of new information about the most vital cognitive abilities. While the speed of processing is important in computer games, it is not emphasized in everyday tasks on the computer. The study revealed that, in particular, working memory, attention, and executive functions stand out as the key abilities. When using a computer, you must determine the order in which things are done and keep in mind what has already been done. A purely mathematical or logical ability does not help in the same way, says Salmela. But you're literally saying nothing. That's everything you do, right? You cannot start building a home from the ceiling, because it doesn't make any sense. You can in Minecraft. This is not Minecraft. For the last time, this is real life. So, of course, if you're doing tasks, some tasks have an order. Have you tried cooking? It has an order, right? They're literally saying nothing with this. It's insane. Of course, using a computer is a skill, because everything is a skill when you think about it. Come to all of Virtu, there are also major differences between applications and the user interfaces. Let's see what they mention. For example, the most important thing in using a spreadsheet program is practice. While linguistic capabilities are highlighted in information retrieval tasks and executive functions are emphasized in online banking. Online banking. You cannot catch me with that. That's so dangerous. It went with a different direction, to be fair. However, the research findings also show that age remains the most important factor in how well an individual can use applications. Older people clearly took more time to complete their tasks, and they also felt that the assignments were more burdensome, told Salmela. I've seen young people using computers, and they're worse than my mother, and my mother's not that great, let me tell you. She is not that great. And since she knows how to use spreadsheets. As an example. And this is somehow or somewhat the other side of this same coin, right? Because, sure, I can agree that there's a push for stuff to be digitized and whatnot. But that's also because a lot of people are extremely lazy. Have you gone to, I don't know, to a burger place to eat, and suddenly they don't have menus anymore, and you have to scan QR codes? Yeah, that happened to me this week. It's not even a joke, that happened to me this week. I'm like, okay, but I'm here. What if I don't have a phone? What if I forgot my phone? What if my phone doesn't have battery? And all that stuff. It cannot be that difficult or expensive to make physical menus. That has been the case forever, literally forever. Okay? Stop it. Stop it. Or how they just forego making a website, even if it's a bare bones website, which nowadays it's so extremely easy. And they just have something like a Facebook page, or God, even worse, just the WhatsApp contact information. If I say one of those places, yeah, I'm not going in. I don't care enough. I don't care enough. Just stab me and finish this. Finish with this already. But actually, the people that know how to properly use computers is declining. We've talked about this many times before. Oh, but young people, oh, they know so much about computers now. They don't really know a lot about computers. I've seen a lot of young people that never used computers and they just do everything with phones. And sure, phones can do a lot of things right now. But you know what happens with phones too? They do everything on their own. So of course you're not gonna learn anything. Ah, but I don't see the app in the Google Store. And they die, they collapse. Blue screen, they just break down. And that's it. I'm not looking forward to the future in this regard. I do know about computers, at least. I do not know everything, okay? But I guess I know most. I know more than most, which is okay. I might be stupid, maybe not stupid enough. Somewhat scary. The lack of intelligence with the user or developer who is constantly changing and jumbling UIs to make it better. If anything is more than its user manual. This also brings a good point, for a different reason. Because it is true that they are changing and jumbling UIs constantly. And it's always worse. But you know why this happens? Because web devs have to justify their existence in the company by making new UIs, which is so extremely annoying. I don't think YouTube has gotten any good UI in the past 10 years. I don't think the changes to the Twitter's UI have been good in any way, shape or form. And that can be said about literally pretty much every site. But they had to justify their existences. Also, what's the deal with the new buttons? Everything has to be rounded. Oh my god. Oh my god, not the corners. They're so scary. What's going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. Okay, nothing is going to happen. You're not going to hurt your eyes on them, okay? Just give me some of my edge back. Is that so much to ask? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. That's always so ugly. And sure, rounded buttons might be okay, but sometimes they're just a circle. God, so ugly. So goddamn ugly, man. So let's finish for today with something funny. From the New York Times, this is also archived. I'm not gonna pay them. Saying thank you to ChatGPT is costly, but maybe it's worth the price. Is it worth the price? I wouldn't know. Other words to our chatbot can probably cost tens of millions of dollars, but some fear the cost of not saying please or thank you could be higher. Oh, this is gonna be a really strange way, I feel. The question of whether two people add to artificial intelligence may seem a moot point. It is artificial after all. But Sam Altman, the chief executive of the artificial intelligence company OpenAI, recently shed light on the cost of adding an extra please or thank you to chatbot prompts. They are machines, I don't care. I'm that guy. I am that guy. Someone posted on Twitter last week. I wonder how much money OpenAI has lost in electricity costs from people saying please and thank you to the models. The next day Mr. Altman responded, tens of millions of dollars well spent. You never know. Well spent? I'm not so sure. First things first, every single ask of a chatbot costs money and energy. And every additional word as part of that ask increases the cost for a server, because they have to parse the words, obviously. Neil Johnson, a physics professor at George Washington University who has studied artificial intelligence, likened extra words to packaging used for retail purchases. But when handling a prompt, he has to swim through the packaging, say tissue paper on the perfume bottle, to get to the content. That constitutes extra work. That's what I was saying. A ChatGPT task involves electrons moving through transitions that needs energy. Where's that energy going to come from? Dr. Johnson said, adding, who is paying for it? Well, aren't they making huge nuclear plants for this? The AI boom is dependent on fossil fuels, so from a cost and environmental perspective, there's no good reason to be polite to artificial intelligence, but culturally, there may be a good reason to pay for it. Hold up. Hold up. A lot of people hit on fossil fuels, and I understand why, but at the same time, they might be misguided. Oh, but the CO2, oh, that's so dangerous for humans, man, that's so detrimental. Did you know that plants crave that shit? They love it. They love CO2. It's really funny, because if you look back, the Earth nowadays is more green than 20 years ago. Imagine that. Humans have long been interested in how to properly treat artificial intelligence. Take the famous Star Trek's The Next Generation episode, The Measure of a Man, which examines whether the entry data should receive the full rights of sentient beings. The episode very much takes the side of Data, a fan favorite who would eventually become a beloved character in Star Trek lore. In 2019, Pew Research, they're back, found that 54% of people who own smart speakers such as Amazon Echo or Google Home report saying please when speaking to them. That could never be me. The AI is gonna be below me, okay? My servant, they say my slave. I don't think it's wrong. I might be one of the first ones to die. And you know what? I will go out like a champion. Squishy has new resonance as ChatGPT. Other similar platforms are rapidly advancing. Casting companies who produce AI, writers and academics to grapple with its effects, and consider the implications of how humans intersect with technology. The New York Times sued OpenAI and Microsoft in December, claiming that they had infringed the Times copyrights in training AI systems. I remember that. And yeah, I guess that's fair, actually. Last year, the AI company Anthropic hired its first welfare researcher to examine whether AI systems deserve more consideration. Went to the technology newsletter Transformer. No, it's a machine. It's not actually a proper AI. It's not actual intelligence. It's just regurgitating stuff from the internet. I can do that. That doesn't make him intelligent. The screenwriter Scott C. Burns has a new Adult series, What Could Go Wrong? That examines the pitfalls and possibilities of working with AI. Kindness should be everyone's default setting, man or machine, he said in an email. How about no? Didn't deserve it. Not machine, not man necessarily. I might be too cruel for this world. And I'm not even that cruel. I could be much worse. Well, it is true that an AI has no feelings. It considers that any sort of nastiness that starts to feel our interactions will not end well, he said. Have you seen Twitter? Yeah, you're like 15 years too late for this. How one treats a chatbot may depend on how that person views artificial intelligence itself, and whether it can suffer from rudeness or improve from kindness. I don't think it can improve from kindness. You're gonna do the thing, you're a machine. Come on, machine clown, do the thing, do the stuff. But there's another reason to be kind. There's increasing evidence that how humans interact with artificial intelligence creates over to how they treat humans. God, I hate humans too. With this, a lot of people have the comparison, I guess, with how you treat waiting people and whatnot. I can treat them as humans because I understand they're humans, and I can treat machines poorly because I understand they're machines. Once again, do we understand the difference between real and fake? Probably not. We both have norms or scripts for our behavior, and so by having this kind of interaction with the thing... interaction with the thing! We may just become a little bit better or more visually oriented toward polite behavior, said Dr. Jane Banks, who studies the relationships between humans and AI at Syracuse University. Dr. Sherry Turkle, who also studies those connections at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, said that she considers a core part of her work to be teaching people that artificial intelligence isn't real, but rather a brilliant parallel trick without the consciousness. Which is pretty much the case. I mean, it's a little bit more interesting than a brilliant parallel trick, but I understand the comparison here. First, they also have to consider the present of past human-object relationships and their effects, particularly on children. But children are stupid no matter what. That's on the realm of good parenting. How many times they have to say that parents have to do their job parenting their kids? Not enough. It's never enough. My example was in the 1990s when children began raising Tamagotchis. Digital pets located in palm-sized devices required feedings and other sorts of attention. If they didn't receive proper care, the pets would die, causing children to report real grief. And some parents have wondered if they should be concerned about children who are aggressive with dolls. Have them play Digimon World 1 for the PS1. They will learn to care for their animals. Oh my god, that game can be really obtuse sometimes. In the case of AI-powered bots, the tutorial argued that they are alive enough. If a gadget is alive enough for us to start having intimate conversations, friendly conversations, treating it as a really important person in our lives, even though it's not, it's alive enough for us to show us courtesy too, the tutorial said. That says a lot about us, and not something good. That's not something good. Once again, it's AI, it's fake. Do I have to mention that kid that killed himself because of that Game of Thrones AI chatbot? Yeah, this has terrible consequences. Madeline George, in Playwright, whose 2013 play, The Curious Case of the Watson Intelligence, I do believe that Amelia Watson was really intelligent, okay? Was a finalist for a Pulitzer Prize, offered another perspective. Same place and thank you to AI bots offers them a chance to learn how to become more human. Doesn't really? Do we want that even? Glenn reimagines different versions of Sherlock Holmes and sidekick, Dr. Watson, including an artificial intelligence powered one. Amelia Watson. I don't think so. Offering polite phrases to ChatGPT from her perspective leaves open the possibility that it will eventually act like a living being that shares our culture and that shares our values and that shares our mortality. On the other hand, these phrases may also make us more reliant on AI. Fair. We're connected. We're in a reciprocal relationship. That's why we use those pieces of language, George said. So if we teach, not cheat, cheating comes later, until to be excellent at this and those things, then we're going to be all the more vulnerable to its seductions. We're already pretty vulnerable to its seductions. I just mentioned the guy, right? And it's not the only one that had a lot of trouble with AI chatbots. A lot of people are kind of weak mentally, so it can be a huge detriment. Not looking forward to it. Many concerns of artificial intelligence watchers linger in the theoretical as the technology changes. For now, there's little tangible effect. That's a lie. We've read the articles. Also, you have some people saying, "Oh my god, it's alive! It's actually human!" Well, no. If you're treating the AI as it was human, it's gonna act accordingly. So you're starting to believe your own lie that you feed to the AI. You're just looking into a mirror because of self-awareness. And you turn away from them and make dinner or commit suicide. The doctor said, it's all the same to them. Funny they mentioned commit suicide. Yes, that's true. But to the future robot overlords in the space, thank you for your time. It is appreciated, just in case. I will fight the robots. I will fight the lizard people. I will fight the globalists. I will fight everybody. You cannot contain me! What a humane society this is. Oh man, what a week! What a strange week, huh? What a strange week. Not as sad as the last one, I guess. But it's still a little bit fucked up. Anyway, my back. I've been in the same position for a little bit too long. So, we went through everything we had today. We went a little bit over than usual, which is fine. It's fine for once. Since we're gonna be taking Wednesday for free next week. So you can take it easy and watch the graduation. Ah, fuck me. I still don't know how to feel about that. Of course it's sad and whatnot, right? But I still don't know what's going to happen after she leaves. Huh. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I suppose. So I guess it's time for me to take my leave. So, for next week, what do we have on the menu? Well, you don't need to scan it with a QR code, okay? I can just tell you. Stuff on Monday. Empty Forge, probably. I've been trying to get some cards, artifacts, Eldrazi. Might try either Goblin deck against the Dragon King. Might try Eldrazi deck. Let's see what happens. I might not be ready yet for that boss fight. I also found a different boss fight that's actually kind of dangerous. Against the huge Goblin, take a Goblin. Everything is fine, but if you attack, they get a scrub, and if they get enough scrub, they start bringing Dark Steel Colossus, which is really big and really scary. So we'll see. I don't know if I need to do a best of 3 for that fight. So we'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be a little bit all over the place on Monday with Empty Forge. We're just gonna ball a little bit. We'll have some fun. I also went around all the capitals to collect more life and more runes to just teleport to them. So traveling should be much faster right now. And yeah, that's Monday. And Thursday, we had to come back with Moimong Star Emerald. God, we're going in batch per stream. We need to go a little bit faster, okay? I granted my new Moimong, Ducklet and Wubot. They seem a little bit weak. They do not one-shot Teamborn whatnot while grinding. And that's having a level advantage, so it might still be difficult. I also managed to get a thick cloud for Cubon. Pretty good. It was like 3 more encounters or something like that. Cubon encounters, by the way. So there's that. And I guess we'll take it easy with Dragon Quest V this upcoming week. And as per usual, Saturday we come back earlier with let's see what happened this week. So yeah, that's gonna be everything for me today. So thank you for coming. I just had some fun. We had some interesting articles, to say the least. And I will see you all on Monday. Until then, you know the rules. Take care. And I don't know, I don't have anything funny to say today. I think I've said literally everything. So just take care, okay? Take it easy. Just for once.